Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. And welcome to episode 1 of a new series called Diving In. And this is a series all about game mechanisms and mechanics and different things that go into all of these kinds of games that we love. This is a series that is going to replace my older series, what I talk about when I talk about dungeon diving. And we'll probably revisit some of those older topics, hopefully with some new insight. Hopefully I've grown as a commentator. So this episode is, of course, all about dice. And I'm going to talk about some of the things I love about dice and then give some examples of some of my favorite dice mechanisms in games. So let's talk about some of the things that make dice great and why I like them. One thing is just the tangible fun. Dice are just fun to pick up and they're fun to roll. They are fun to collect because you can get all kinds of neat looking dice. I love this blue. Is that periwinkle? I don't know, but I love that color there. I like these two little D6s here. I love D6s. D6s are probably my favorite kind of dice. I like these Morkborg inspired dice here. The bright yellow and bright pink. Big chunky things, small little dice like those little red D6 that you get in Warhammer Quest. Weird dice. I think these are from, what is that, zombie dice, D10s, D20s. Yeah, I don't know. Dice are just fun, right? I like picking them up and rolling them. They make neat sounds. Some dice feel really good. There is just a tangible sense of fun when it comes to dice. I also like them, especially the D6, because it is familiar. Even people who don't really play board games are familiar with the D6, either through Yahtzee or through other ubiquitous games. And so when you tell somebody to roll a D6 or to roll some dice, they know what to do. Anybody, just about anybody, I don't want to be too ableist here, but just about anybody can pick up dice and roll them. Not everybody can shuffle cards, and so that's kind of an advanced board gaming skill, right? But dice are familiar. People know what to expect when you tell them to roll some dice. They know that they're going to get some kind of random number, and then that number will be used for something. Another thing that I really like about dice is that they favor luck over skill. And for me, that's important because I'm really bad at games. I've said that many times on this channel, but I'm not a good strategist. I'm not good at coming up with interesting and beneficial tactics. I prefer to rely on luck. And so games that have a lot of luck are games that I enjoy more. I like rolling dice, adding some bonuses, comparing that to a target number to trying to overcome challenges rather than coming up with my own strong strategies and tactics. Comparing something like the luck of Talisman or the card play skill of Gloomhaven, or Mage Knight or something like that. I will always prefer the luck in games like Talisman and Runebound. And games with where you just roll a lot of dice. It kind of, in some ways, because I'm so bad at games, it alleviates the pressure. Because if my chance of winning is based off of a die roll, then it kind of gives me permission to lose. Because, hey, you know what? It's not really my fault, right? I could have rolled that 6 and 1, or I could have rolled that 1 and lost. And so it gives me permission to lose gracefully. That is something that I like. Games that rely on a lot of skill, I often feel pressure to perform, and I feel pressure to do well. And when I don't do well, it kind of bums me out. So I like luck over skill, and dice give me a lot of luck. And finally, the thing that I really love about dice is that they create drama. They are these little cubes of divination. They can't help but create drama. They create high highs and low lows. In games where you roll dice, there are often moments where people stand up at the table and roll those dice, and they either stand up and cheer with their arms in the air, giving each other high fives, or they sit down and bury their heads in shame with these low lows. And, I very rarely does somebody stand up and play a card, unless you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In the anime. But, card play in something like Mage Knight or Gloomhaven doesn't really feel exciting. I think you feel smart. Those games make you feel smart, but not lucky. And when you get lucky, you get excited and there is drama. When you are facing off against a final boss in Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, and you have a strength of 2, and you have your 2d6, and you need to hit a 5 or a 6, and you hit that 6, and you win the game. It feels great. Or if you hit those double 2s or a 1 and you fail, it's just like, oh man, my character just didn't have the luck to overcome that challenge. And so that drama that dice create are something that I really do enjoy. Now I wanted to give some examples of dice systems that I really do like in games. Coming in at number 5 here is Solitary Defilement. So Solitary Defilement is a solo supplement made for Mörk Borg, and it uses a 2d20 system. And so in a lot of RPGs are 1d20, where you will roll a number, you will add a bonus, and then you will try to hit a target number like 15 and you add a +2. So if you roll the 14, you had a +2, that would be a 16. You hit that over 15 and you succeed. However, Solitary Defilement uses a 2d20 system where you have to either hit both dice have to hit the target number, and that's a strong success, or else you have a weak success if only one dice hits it, or you have a complete failure if both dice miss. And the reason I like that system, that 2d20 system where you're comparing both dice rolled to the target number, is it's easier to create narrative outcome as a solo player, because you can say a weak hit is something that gives you some benefit, but then there is a complication, or both those dice hit and you do that thing really well, or both dice miss and it's a complete failure. And so it's easier to come up with narrative stories of narrative ideas to the consequences of what you rolled. And so I really do like that system. Another system I do like is Hellboy, and Hellboy allows the players to upgrade their dice. So it's all D6s in Hellboy, but depending on the color of the D6 you roll, they have more successes or they have more misses. And you can upgrade dice as you gain bonuses. You can downgrade dice as you gain penalties. And so it's a very simple, kind of tangible way to very easily look at your dice pool to see how you are doing. And I love that idea of upgrading and downgrading dice. I think it's a fantastic mechanic. One of my favorites is Dungeon Degenerates. So Dungeon Degenerates uses a 2d6 system, and then you can add a bonus die. I think it's called a power die. And depending on what you're doing, the power die is usually for attacking or for defending. But the 2d6 system is really interesting because you have a stat, like let's say you had a strength of 9, and you have 2d6, and you are attacking. You roll those and you look at the 2d6 and you have to roll your stat or under. So you're rolling low. So I had a strength of 9. I needed to roll a 9 or lower to attack. I rolled a 6. So my attack was successful. And now, because I was attacking, I take the power die or the other 2 dice and I look at the highest value. And that gives me the degree of my success. So my highest value would be 5. So in this case, my attack was a success, and I did 5 points of damage, or I did the thing 5 points well. This is the degree of the success. So you roll low, but your highest individual die gives you the degree of your success. That is a fantastic system. That is also a fantastic system for a solo RPG because it gives you a way to grade the narrative outcome of what you rolled. Let's say the power die, it's a third die that you can use as one of the successes. It just gives you another chance to get a high value. Let's say you were trying to swing across you were scaling down a cliff and you needed an agility test, and your agility was 8. And you rolled a 9 there, so you actually missed that. However, the highest value would give you the degree of your miss, a 1 being a terrible miss and a 6 being a near success or something like that. So I don't know. That's just a great system. I love that system in Dungeon Degenerates, and I would like to see that system used more. Coming in at number 2 is the rolling dice for your action, for action selection. And this is used a lot in the newer Warhammer Quest games like Silver Tower, like Blackstone Fortress, Shadows over Hammerhall, Cursed City, where you have a pool of dice and you have a character card, and on the character card, it tells you the different actions you can take for what you rolled. So you roll your dice, and then you assign those dice to different actions based on their total. That is really fun. It's fun because it still gives you that chance, that luck. You might get your 2 powerful attacks. You might get no powerful attacks, but then you have to think a little bit in a strategic or a tactical way and assign those dice to their various actions in a beneficial way so you can have the most efficient and the most consequential turn. So it gives you some luck, but then you also get some choice in how to use those. I think that is a great system. I always like dice rolling for action selection. I think that is a super, super fun mechanism. And finally, no surprise, we've said it before here on the Dungeon Dive, but my favorite dice system is a D6 dice pool used in games like Arkham Horror and Eldritch Horror, used in the game that I'm designing, A Land in Peril, where you take a certain number of dice that's based off of your stat. So if you had a strength of 3, you would take 3d6. On a normal test, you need 1 5 or 1 6 to pass. And so this would have been a failure. You could say that it was an easy test, where an easy test, you need a 1 4 5 or 6 to pass. And I have a 6 and a 6, so that's 2 successes, but you usually only need 1 success. The reason why I like this system so much, it is super easy to scale on the player side and on the game side. It's super easy to say, okay, I have a strength of 3, so I get to roll 3d6. When your strength goes up to 4, you just simply add a 4th d6 for an additional chance. That's something that is very easy to recognize, that is 1 better. You have 1 more chance to hit that target number. If you have a strength of 3, but you're suffering some kind of condition where you are weakened, then you just take away a die. I really do like that. On the other side of that equation, you have a 5 or a 6 is a normal success. If something is really hard, you can say you need a 6 to succeed. Or if something is easier, you can say you need a 4, 5, or 6 to succeed. It's very easy to balance, and it's very easy to scale. You can also say that you need multiple successes. So this would be an easy test that needs 2 successes. So I need to have multiple 4, 5s, or 6s, and that is a complete failure there. But that is a really fun system. You get to roll handfuls of dice. The dice tell you certain things. They tell you if you succeed, and it's really easy to look at and see and make a decision about, okay, I know that I have an okay chance of hitting at least 1 5 or 1 6 on 3 dice. A lot better chance than hitting it on 1, except, hey, I just did. But yeah, so that's dice. Some people love them. Some people hate them. They are kind of ubiquitous in the kinds of games that we cover on the Dungeon Dive. I do have one weird D something. I don't know what this is, but I've had this particular die for a really long time, and I don't know what it is or what it is for. A -0. What the hell is a -0? We have a 0, a -0, a +0. We have a 6, a +1, a +8, a -5, a -8. Yeah, if anybody has any idea what this is used for, let me know. I'm curious, but it is also fun to look at old dice. These dice here are from Tomb. Of course, I do have my original dice. I think these were from Gamma World. I think I finally realized that these were from Gamma World. I've had these things forever. Some old TSR box set, but I've had these 3 D10s for a really, really long time. Of course, we also have the original dice from Hero Quest, those wooden dice. That's another thing you get. You can get wooden dice. You can get dice made out of different things that have different feels to them, different designs. I've got this one, where is that 1d6 so this was an interesting d6 because it says CSG there. And I used to have one of the ambient names I performed under for a few albums and a few years was Carl Sagan's Ghost. So CSG, I picked that up because of that CSG there. I'm not sure what CSG means with that squirrel. Some kind of branded die there, but yeah, big chunky orange dice there. I like fluorescent dice. I like really bright dice. I don't like metal dice, but I know some people do, and you can get dice made of metal, wood, plastic. They paper origami dice, all kinds of things. Dice are really fun. They're fun to roll. They create drama and they're just fun. So let me know what you guys think about dice. What are some of your favorite dice mechanisms in games? What are your kinds of favorite dice to collect? Let me know if you know what this particular weird polyhedral thing is. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Diving In. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.